because I think the purpose of faith is to get human beings to live on a higher plane than the animals in the jungle, and that there's something bigger going on that's bigger than all of us.
And we're back. I'm your boy Connor. That's your boy Ray, and this is the Dear Pats Nation podcast.
Connor, I'm really confused.
Why?
I thought the Patriots won today.
25-6, Patriots. I can confirm. I saw the score.
Then why is everybody acting like they got their fucking asses kicked?
Oh, that's just because no matter what happens, Twitter is always going to be angry. They want it to be 60-0, or the Patriots essentially lose. Those are really the only two outcomes of every game.
Guys, Connor.
Yes.
How many months do we wait for football to come?
February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 7 months we waited.
7 months for football to come.
I'm ecstatic it's here.
And then the Patriots won, you said, 25-6?
25-6. That's what I remember, at least. I think that's what I saw as the score.
Okay.
Maybe they lost. I don't know.
Not a perfect game.
No.
Frustrating at times.
Yeah, but I mean, they only let up 6 points at the end of the day.
But they won 25-6. Like you can definitely confirm that.
Yes, I'm very confident that was the outcome of the game.
Okay. I was just so confused because I was like, I finished my play-by-play stuff over on the Patriots News Desk YouTube channel and Colorcast, and I was like, oh, I'm like, perfect. You know, I'm gonna go celebrate the Patriots victory on Twitter, and then I came on and I was like, oh no, they lost. I must have.
Maybe you watched like a different version.
Yeah, I was watching like a replay or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember Mac Jones and Zach Wilson playing before, but I watched something that nobody else was watching. Last week the Patriots lost 17-16 in the most maddening, frustrating way.
Yes,
heartbreaker, gutted, and yet so many people were optimistic.
Right.
You know, a couple little things, but for the most part, optimistic. Do you remember in 2018, we had that guy, who the hell is he? He turned out to be pretty good. Thomas something, Tom Brady.
Oh,
Brady,
yeah, that guy,
Brady
yeah.
Tom or Brady Thomas or Tom Brady.
Yes, that was it. That was
Tom Brady, yeah. And the Patriots started the season 2-2. And like they got their ass kicked to the Detroit Lions, like just absolutely handed them on a silver platter.
They did.
I think they lost to Jacksonville. Yeah, got their asses handed to Jacksonville, who won like 3 games the rest of the year. And I think the Patriots won that game. It's a one where they get the Super Bowl.
The one with the trophy at the end.
Yes. Not your fantasy league, not the fantasy league.
No, I got that trophy right here. Yeah.
No, the Lombardi.
Similar.
Yeah. Similar looking trophy. Yours is a little nicer.
Yep, definitely a little nicer. But hey, the one that they get is still nice too. It's not a competition of trophies, you know.
The first 4 weeks, Connor, of the NFL season is just bad football all around. From
usually, yeah, pretty much.
It's not just for Patriots fans. It's every football team. I mean, or you get hot starts. I mean, you remember when the Patriots were 9-0 a couple years ago?
100%. Yeah, that was the hottest start ever. They were the boogeymen. They were the scariest team ever, and then they limped into the playoffs after losing at home to Miami, who was dreadful that season, and they had a bye on the line. So things go awry very quickly in this league, man. 100%.
Things can also get better, right?
Oh, absolutely. And Bill Belichick coached teams, from what we've seen, historically speaking, they usually do.
Okay. So I just wanted to establish that, right? That let's be a little bit happy that the Patriots won. Like, let's have a little.
I thought it was. I was very happy at the end of that. I thought it was a lot of promising things.
Good. Like, there was bad stuff, guys. I'm not going to deny that there wasn't issues.
There's bad stuff in every game.
But I mean, you know, I even saw some of your boys who I respect on Twitter writing today, and Michael,
Is he having a meltdown?
Not a meltdown, but Mac Jones looked like a rookie quarterback today. I'm like, oh, he is.
I thought he looked fine.
It was Mac Jones' first road game ever.
I thought Zach Wilson looked like a rookie.
Yeah, Zach Wilson looked bad. Well, again, right? We can't. I haven't even seen people credit the Patriots secondary or the Patriots pass rush that put a lot of pressure on Zach Wilson to make those throws. It was all Zach Wilson's fault.
Also, in the first half, man, I mean, I wouldn't really blame a lot of that on Mac Jones. Durant was probably the worst offensive lineman I've seen, and this includes Marshall Newhouse in a Patriots uniform. I think it was 3 sacks in the first half alone. It was absolutely abysmal by that guy.
I didn't think that it could get worse than Marshall Newhouse. Like
I didn't think it could either.
But I'm willing, Connor. Maybe you'll donate your half too. But I'm going to donate. I'm willing right now to donate my half of the earnings from Dear Pats Nation. I'm willing to donate that to Robert Kraft to pay some of Yasser Durant's salary if he can ensure me he will never play right tackle for the New England Patriots ever again. Are you willing to give up your half?
Not only will I give up my half, I'll go into my own pocket and start to pay as well if need be. If Mr. Kraft's listening, I want him to know that. I'm that serious.
And Kraft needs the money, as we know.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah. I'm going to start, and I have a bunch of Patreon stuff we got to get to as well, because I asked them how they felt about this game, but I want to start with this one right here. We could say Tom Brady carried Josh McDaniels as a play caller, though, because holy hell, these play calls are just not it. I put on Twitter before I came on here that I actually had to come defend Josh McDaniels today.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was. Yeah, please do. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Because I got a beef with this.
Yep.
I got a beef with this. Everybody on Twitter, some of the people in the comments here, were the same people who told me the Patriots wide receiving core is not good enough. Argued with me till I was blue in the face. Some people, and there's people on this chat right now, and they know who they are, who said, Ray, you'll see. That wide receiving core is not good enough. Okay? I'm ready to agree with you. Because you know what I saw in the first half? I saw Mac Jones looking down the field. I saw Mac Jones wanting to unleash the football. I saw Josh McDaniels sending receivers down the field. You know what else I saw, Connor? Not a single fucking person getting open. Not a single person getting open, even when Mac Jones could stand there with a clean pocket. And if anybody talks to me about those 3 run plays at the end of the game, I'm gonna bang my head off the wall.
I don't get why that was a bad thing. They just ran the ball, ran some clock, he kicked the field goal, and the game was over.
A field goal put the Patriots up by 3 scores was less than 3 minutes left, right?
Right. Why wouldn't you want that?
And why do you want to show anybody what you're going to do in the red zone?
Right.
Right? Why at that point of the game, when you can go up by 3 possessions with a field goal, Mr. Automatic, Mr. Record Holder, Nick Folk
drilled it.
Why are you going to show New Orleans anything that you're going to do in the red zone?
No, I completely agree. At that point, I was in complete agreement. I expected them to run the ball 3 times and call it a day.
But people were really, really upset.
They just wanted to see the Patriots score a touchdown and run the score up, but it's like that's not helpful. What does it matter? The game's over. You're going to secure the victory, and you're going to show everyone nothing. Just run the game out. What does it matter? It was just show points at that point.
Yep, and I agree with everybody now. The receivers are a problem. They are, because they can't get separation. So what does Josh McDaniels have to do? He has to hand off the football, and he has to call check down plays.
Yeah.
Because the only way the Patriots could move the ball.
I mean, coming into this season, though, I never really expected it to be the receivers. I thought they were going to run the football and they were going to use the tight ends like crazy. I don't think they've used the tight ends enough. I mean, Hunter Henry, I think, had 2 catches. Jonnu Smith had, 3, maybe 4, 20-something yards. There was one big play by Hunter Henry where he had 30 yards. Outside of that, they did not utilize them that much. Damian Harris looked great on the ground again. had a fantastic run. They barely used J.J. Taylor. I don't know, man. I think that the receivers aren't like we're never supposed to be the focal point. So, yeah, they're struggling out the gate, definitely. But I always expected them to be a ground and pound team.
McChicken said, I'm going to own up to it. I was one of those complaining about the 3 run plays, but it was comments made in the moment. I just want to see Max succeed. So McChicken made a comment in our group chat. I wasn't even actually referring to McChicken because I get mad in the moment. If you guys look at my Twitter today, I got mad at Belichick today, and I never get mad at Belichick.
Right.
Like, I never do. And I got mad at him twice, and I'll go into that. It was after. It's been the last 4 hours that I've been just, reading this stuff and opinions on people. And I just sat there, Connor, and I was like, we are the most miserable fan base. I was so ready to come on
100%.
tonight and say, how do we feel about a victory and be excited and this and that. And I just sat there and thought, we are such a miserable fucking fan base.
They didn't give up a touchdown.
Like, we're the type, the Patriots could win the Super Bowl. And I bet you half the fan base would be like, oh, well, fuck, well, next year they're going to lose this guy and that guy. So, like, what was the point of winning it this year? Like,
they're already beyond them losing next year.
So I'm not talking about the moment. Right. I dropped an F-bomb on my play-by-play today. Okay,
that's not legal, is it?
No, which I had to apologize for. Right? Because I was so fucking mad at Belichick. Because the Patriots have the personnel to fix that right tackle position with Trent Brown out. And I'm going to get into that now.
Yep.
Right? You had Yodny Custe, and when he came in, he looked good.
Yep.
Okay? You had Haran, but he didn't get much time. He had 1 play, and then he was hurt.
Right.
But you could have...
Where's Ted Karras as well?
That's what I want to know.
I know he's a center, but still, you can't play tackle?
No, but he can play guard.
That's what I'm saying. Or they can do a configuration that they can just switch some guys around.
Yes, Mike Onwenu was one of the top-rated rookies last year at right 100%, tackle. 100%,
of course.
And I was sitting there like, shift him to tackle.
Right.
Put Karras at the left guard position. Whatever. McChicken pointed out to me in the group chat, like, Cayuste had a great preseason. Let him have a try. Why Belichick fucking kept going with what more had to happen?
Apparently, it was the 3rd sack was the icing on the cake.
Like, they had a fumble.
Yep.
Durant covered Mac Jones's fumble after he gave up the sack.
I was going to say because he was so close to it.
I'm going to say people are upset about the offensive line. After the second half, I thought the offensive line held up pretty well.
They did fine. They did fine in the second half. The offensive line wasn't an issue outside of Durant. They gave up 3 sacks in the first half, and all 3 of them, which is hard to do, man. You give up 3 sacks, all 3 of them were on the same guy. He was a turntable out there. He was Marshall Newhouse 2.0.
I was an offensive lineman, and if I was mad at my quarterback, I don't think I could purposely let up 3 sacks.
I was going to say 3 times. 3 times is a lot, right?
I just want people to be happy.
Right.
Just be happy. The Patriots won.
They won. It wasn't a close game.
Oh man. And I'm gonna call on this too. Oh, there we go. Wynn had some bad penalties, 2 bad penalties today in crucial moments.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Wynn hasn't been strong out the gate the first 2 games. But I mean, I thought it was just like 90% of it was just once they got Durant out of there, it was fine.
Yeah, Big MGM said it was improved. It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. The offensive line still needs some work, but
right.
I agree. It was better in the second half. Mike says, I'm happy, damn it.
Nice.
I didn't say you weren't.
Appreciate you.
But I'm going to go through some of these, some of our Patreon comments here.
Yep.
First, I want to tell you that if you enjoy Dear Pats Nation content, we're now offering another live show every Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time called The Patriots News Desk. I go through all the important headlines of the day, give my opinion, yada, yada, yada. You can get it on the Colorcast app. You can also get it on our alternative page, the Patriots News Desk YouTube channel. Colorcast, unfortunately, has not done enough for us, Connor, and I can't make anything exclusive there anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
So we had to move over. So you can go check out our Patriots Newsbreak YouTube or Patriots News Desk YouTube page. I'm trying not to clutter up this page with too much of the news stuff I'm doing, like for Newsbreak and all that kind of stuff, but I'm trying to get it on YouTube so that we have a portfolio. So it's all going to go on the Patriots news desk if you want to check that
Nice.
stuff out. But let's go through
Nice.
some of these Patreons here. Then we'll get to as many comments as we can. Chat is pretty hopping right now. Of course, super chats are always going to get the priority, but we're just going to go through here. So Brian Lynch says, "Thank goodness we won. That
Yeah.
being said, here are my takeaways. 2 games now, no passes into the end zone. I don't know what Josh is doing. We kind of addressed that at the beginning. I mean, the touchdown, Damian Harris made up for that fumble last week. He
Did. He went pure beast mode, and I want to point out that Mac Jones at the end ran in and helped push him into the end zone.
Yeah, it was, but he had 4 guys trying to take him down. And
he did. He just kept
going forward. Yeah, and I love that Mac Jones ran in.
Oh my goodness, ground and
Number
pound.
2, and again in that final 3 runs in a row, that was the right call. And I said it on the broadcast, and I'm saying it now. You don't show anybody anything at that moment. You had the game won. There's no point of calling one of your plays. They already pulled out 2 trick plays this game that they can't bring out again.
Right.
The double pass to James White,
which is awesome.
Love that. And then the other one with the sort of, was it the end around to, was it
Kendrick Bourne? Yeah.
Great play call. Number 2, I'm not sure we can stop the run as the Jets ran freely. If I was going to point to what my biggest concern is for this Patriots team, it's the run defense.
I agree, especially with Kamara coming to town next week.
Yeah. I'm going to be he didn't have a great game today either.
No, he didn't. They threw up an absolute stinker.
But I'm going to be I actually just finished preparing it. I'm going to be putting something out on Newsbreak tomorrow where I'm actually going to be talking about the run defense. That needs to be fixed. That's the piece that needs to be fixed the most. Our O-line might not be as good as we think. I think our O-line is good. I think the Trent Brown injury has hurt us. We've only
massively.
We've only had him for like 4 plays.
Yep.
However, I'm going to put a little bit of this on Belichick. I don't like the personnel decisions.
Right.
Like, you could have fixed it. You could have fixed it with Onwenu. You could have fixed it with Haran. Like, even when he wasn't being sacked, Yasser Durant was just letting people run through him like a turnstile. He was awful. He couldn't block. He couldn't help get rid of the edge for the running backs. It was brutal.
It has to be fixed for next week too, because the Saints are a very good defense all of a sudden.
And then it must suck to be a Jets fan after you watch Wilson throw 4.
Oh yeah, it must. I mean, that poor kid was seeing ghosts.
And I'm gonna get to that because I got a funny feeling. Thanks for Joe for the super chats at One-Legged Pigeon at 846, which I think I know what it is.
Okay.
Which is,
thank you, Joe.
This one right here. We didn't win. The Jets lost.
And if you want to take it to that, then the Patriots are still 1-1 because the Miami Dolphins didn't win last week. The Patriots lost, but the Patriots also won today. They deserve to win, man. They played well enough to win.
However, Zach Wilson wasn't standing in a clean pocket, looking down the field, making bad decisions.
No.
Do you know what was going on through those times, guys? That was the Patriots front 7 putting immense pressure on Wilson.
And I thought the secondary was very aggressive to the ball.
I mean, yes, Wilson made some bad throws, but he was throwing on his back foot.
Right.
3 of the 4 were shots on his back foot. A lot of his incompletes came from pressures. I don't know if One-Legged Pigeon is just being sarcastic because last week we kept saying, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. Like, if we're not even going to, if we're at the point now as a fan base that we're not even going to acknowledge what the front 7 was doing to Zach Wilson, Connor, I'm just ready to pack up this fucking show. I'm going to be honest with you. Because there's no point of us being on here because I'm not coming on here to be fucking miserable every week and say that we suck even if we win.
I mean, they didn't let up a touchdown.
No, and I'm being,
touchdown. You got to win 10 times out of 10.
And I'm being serious. I'm not being a fucking suck right now. I'm not being a thing. There's no point of us being here if we're just going to be miserable the whole time after a 25-6 win.
Right.
But be kind of like looking on the bright side of a 17-16 loss.
Right.
When you and I were just fucking gutted. Like we didn't want to talk about it. We cut the show early because we're just like, we're done. I'm finished. Like I can't talk about it anymore. We went off air. We didn't want to talk about the game. We didn't want to come back on Monday.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, like it's
always something.
Yeah. Alex says overall just a win, nothing special, but nothing terrible to complain about. Just got to move on to next week. That's a very Belichick answer.
Very Belichick answer, but yeah.
No, but I don't play. No, I don't agree. I don't play for the
too.
Patriots. I'm going to enjoy this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's 25-6. It's fine. It's a win in the books. They scored. They executed for the overwhelming majority of the game.
Again,
Damien Harris look good. They look fine.
If everybody's going to be upset, I just suggest you stop watching football.
Yeah.
To be real, because you're never going to be happy.
Yeah, it's like you got to come out and win 60-0, like I said, every week.
Go watch Tampa Bay. Go cheer for Brady. They put up 5 touchdowns today, if that's what you're looking for, because it's going to be a miserable season for you. A rookie quarterback in his first road game, in his second game of his career, looked a little bit like a rookie quarterback at times. Couldn't throw a touchdown pass. It happens.
They also, both of those scores came from like a decent ways away.
Yeah. Bruce, red zone offense and run defense are still suspect, but defense as a whole looks a little bit together than the first game. I know Belichick likes to feel out of the first few games to see what is actually, I got to come back. I got to rewind for a second here. I'm sorry. I'll get back to Bruce in a second. I apologize, Bruce. We spent the entire offseason, Connor, being told that we were fucking negative.
Yep.
That we were just bashing the team, bashing Cam Newton, bashing everybody.
You can't win.
And then we come out and we're being bashed because we want to be happy that the Patriots won.
We can't win. They win and we're happy. We're overly optimistic. They lose, we're upset, we're negative. It doesn't matter. You can't win. Can't please everybody.
And I'm getting away from us for a second. Forget us for a second. This fan base just I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to say to them anymore. There is literally nothing we can say to make anybody happy, or to make a majority happy. That's what I've discovered now.
Right.
If we say anything critical, we're haters. If we say anything positive, we're idiots.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're delusional.
That's the balance that we're working with here.
And we're delusional.
100%.
Bruce says red zone offense and run defense are still suspect, but defense as a whole looks a little bit together than the first game. And I thought it is. Hightower had a better game today. Not a great game, but shaking off the rust a little bit. No Kyle Van Noy. Again, the run defense is a problem. That's something they got to figure out.
Definitely wasn't great, because I think the Jets are one of the weakest teams at running back in the NFL.
Yep. And they average, I think, 4.6 yards per together. I knew this from preparing my story. The Patriots are letting up an average of 4.6 yards per carry between the first 2 games. Today, Buffalo let Miami run for 4 yards per carry. Last week, I think Carolina let the Jets run 2.6 yards per carry.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, definitely. Bruce continues, I know Belichick likes to feel out the first few games to see what is the actual identity of this team. The Jets D-line looks a lot better than expected, and they give some looks early that took advantage of some communication issues on the O-line. That Masak looks like the mic was not identified by Mac, which can be improved upon. And yep, you're right. It wasn't identified by Mac. He didn't identify the mic. I also believe that. Can you just keep an eye out for super chats, because I got something else up here right now. I think Bruce hit it, and you know what? It's funny because we had Richie on, and then I was on Ryan's show on Friday night with Richie and Master at work, and Richie and Ryan were both saying that everybody thought the Jets' area of strength this season was going to be their defensive line.
Right. So
they were massively disappointed against Carolina that they couldn't get any pressure or anything of that nature. So it makes sense that perhaps they had a bounce back game today.
That too. Yeah, they actually look pretty good, but also in the second half, they didn't get through all that much. The first half, they were just picking on Durant, essentially. That's what I really took away from that. I'm not overly concerned.
But against the run, too, Damien Harris, even though he had some beast mode moments, there was a
Yeah.
couple of plays where he just could not get any penetration.
Yeah, no,
behind the Patriots
there
offensive
were
line.
times that they had him behind the line of scrimmage as soon as the ball, was hiked. It really was just a couple of those huge runs where he just went full beast mode, which was promising to see still.
Speaking of which, I just want to tell everybody that our boy Chevy, also aka Chevy on Productions, got us all the art. It looks phenomenal, Connor. I'll send it to you tonight. I was not able. I just ran out of time this weekend to set it all up.
Yeah.
He even sent me proofs on T-shirts. They look phenomenal. I will be getting that set up. It will be out tomorrow. We will be releasing that line of hyperbolic.
Nice.
He made us 3 different shirts actually. And I'll keep one a surprise. We'll reveal them tomorrow night. But 3 shirts coming out tomorrow. Good. Hyperbolic, Snake Island, and another one that we're gonna leave. We're just gonna leave as a surprise. But those shirts will be released tomorrow. 100% of the proceeds will be donated to COVID relief across the United States and Canada.
Nice.
In honor of our boy Marco, Love Vibration Nation.
Get out there and support, guys.
Mike N says the Patriots overall looked just okay to me today against a fairly mediocre and injury-ridden Jets team. Now that being said, I don't think they didn't really open up the playbook in this game. The defense looked vanilla on purpose. The offense definitely doesn't look to be firing on all cylinders, especially without Trent Brown. I would sum the game up by saying we played conservative because we knew we could win after a certain point, and that's a really good point. I mean,
it is.
It's like the Olympics, right? Like runners, you see that like in like the 100-meter dash when they're in qualifiers. I remember them saying like, Usain Bolt only goes like 70% his first heat,
right?
Because he doesn't want to show 100%. He doesn't want to show people his explosive speed. He doesn't want people to plan because apparently there is planning to it. Same with swimmers in their first heat. They won't go 100%. They won't go, and they save energy. Again, like we saw plays today, especially near the end of that game, that you could tell that New England was just playing as conservative possible, trying to give nothing away. We did see them do a couple of different things. Like we saw the trick plays, obviously those were big, right? And that kind of thing. But and then that great end around to Bourne, which I thought was actually the call of the game. That was better than the double pass. Speaking of that double pass, that probably should have been a touchdown pass. I don't know why Jonnu Smith ran to the sidelines. He should have ran straight up the middle of the field. I was a little bit confused by that play.
Yeah, no, I don't know what he did there either, but I agree, man. I don't think they completely went out there and opened everything up. We haven't seen what this offense is capable of doing, their best plays, what they're planning to do. It's been 2 games, and I think also with the Jets, they knew that they didn't have to open the playbook up that much to win. Belichick knew that they weren't going to let up many points on defense. It was going to be kind of a slower game on offense. 25-6 is just like the perfect score for it. They didn't let them do anything on offense. Patriots ran the football, showed them a little bit with the trick plays, but outside of that, they played very vanilla on purpose.
Okay, I'm not going to say they played on purpose because I don't know if they played on purpose. I know they played conservative. Again, and I'm not trying to make excuses for some of the things. Like the run defense is a problem. There's no excuse made for that.
The run defense was pretty bad. You can't let Ty Johnson run on you.
No, the offensive line issues, obviously Yasser Durant, but Isaiah Wynn on the left side a little bit. Those are issues as well. So I'm not gonna ignore that fact. We've acknowledged it, talked about it, whatnot. However, I've seen, a lot of people on Twitter say, like, what's up with Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry? Because I think they're expecting the Gronk Hernandez thing, right? Well,
right.
Gronk and Hernandez turned into Gronk and Hernandez year 2. And I know these are seasoned guys to veteran guys and whatnot. You got to remember, Hunter Henry didn't play any of the preseason. Yep. Missed a lot of stuff. Jonnu Smith missed a lot of time. These guys are still building their way into the system. These guys are still building chemistry with Mac Jones. Mac Jones was playing with all the second stringers throughout the whole year, right? So Mac Jones is building that chemistry with all the first stringer guys. We've watched the New England Patriots over the first 4 weeks. How many times with Tom Brady as our quarterback would we say the season starts in October?
All the time.
Right? And I just wonder, like, if we got this result today, this exact same result, but Tom Brady was the quarterback, if people would be as upset as they are right now.
Probably not. We would be happy just because it's another. They won like this plenty of times in the past, man. They've been especially versus the Jets. In the beginning of the season versus the Jets, 25-6 win where the offense is all right. They hold their own. The defense doesn't let the other quarterback do anything. This is a Sam Darnold normal type game versus the Jets over the past 5 years.
Yep. And I think that when it comes down to it, it's, again, it's week 2.
Yep.
It's funny. Let's go to week 2 last season when the Patriots lost and we came
we
on
were
this stream
thrilled.
and everybody in the fan base was acting like it was a victory.
Yep.
The fan base as a whole was happier about a week 2 loss than they were about a week 2 win this year.
Yep.
And how did all that optimism, where did it go for the rest of the season? How did that all end up for us?
It didn't go well, but yeah, we were definitely overly optimistic then. Now we're the exact opposite after a win where a game wasn't close.
We got some more patrons we got to get to here, but maybe you want to grab a couple of chats and just see what they want to say.
Let's see what we have here.
Can I put you back in charge of the chats so I can do all the other stuff?
All right, let's see. We'll go to one here. Gabe Center X says the first interception by Jackson was some high IQ play by tipping it like that to the teammate. It was. He tipped it, then somebody else tipped it, then he tipped it. Like
Adrian Phillips tipped it, and then he caught it. Now that was actually a great play by J.C. Jackson, even just to break up the play.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it was Devin McCourty, I think, and then Devin McCourty went up to get it. It actually, I think, got swatted by Corey Davis, and then J.C. Jackson came down with it.
Right.
But it was, it was.
They were all over it though. Yeah, it was.
It was pressure by the front seven and a good play by J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Which was like the whole game essentially. Hector Gonzalez says we're only going to get better going into the season. I completely agree, and that's what we've been trying to say. That's what we've been talking about.
100%. If this was week 5, week 6, I would completely understand everybody's frustration. Like I would 100% understand, and I would probably be right there with you. I'm a lot less optimistic than Connor is. I'm known as the pessimist. I mean, people have told me I'm too pessimist, right? But I'm also a little bit, I don't consider myself a pessimist. I consider myself a realist. I still think this team is an 8 to 9 win team. I don't think they're anything more than that. I've said that since forever. Right? Like I've said that as forever. After free agency, I said this team is still an 8 or 9 win team. This team is still a year away and a couple of pieces on offense and defense away from being an 11, 12, 13 win team. I'm thinking I'm a realist. But I also understand that the first 4 weeks of the season, traditionally for every NFL team, is ugly football. For the Patriots especially, though, this season never starts until October. They talked about it, I think it was Matt who talked about it last week on Patreon, said Belichick treats the first 4 weeks as the preseason still. Like it's still the preseason as they're figuring things out. Week 5, week 6, if we're seeing the same kind of stuff, if we go into Houston, who has been surprisingly good the last 2 weeks, but if we go into Houston and we win 25-6, but it's a game like this and everybody's frustrated, I'm going to concede, Connor. I'm going to say, yeah, there's a lot of problems on this team. We've talked about the problems. The wide receivers, no separation. Offensive line was like a turnstile at some point, was still a little weak in the second half, even after they brought in Rodney Custe. The run defense is a major problem on the team. However, we've got a young, good quarterback. We've got, you know what I mean? We've got good tight ends that are coming in. Obviously, the running back stable works. I don't like Ramondre Stevenson sitting out and Brandon Bolden being in the game. However, keep it at that. I get it, but it's week 2. There's problems that need to be worked out. Give Belichick the time to try to iron them. Week 5 and 6, if we're seeing the same thing, I'll be on the same page as you guys. I'm concerned, but panic buttons are already out. Frustration is already at an all-time high, and the team is 1-1.
And a 1-1 team where they could easily be 2-0, barring a couple mistakes.
Let's do a couple more comments and we'll go back to the Patreon.
All right, we got a collection of cells here. It says the offensive line that was projected to be a top 5 O-line is looking very average. They'll figure it out, man. Like we were just saying, I really do think they're going to figure it out. Trent Brown being injured is a big part of that, obviously. But they're going to figure it out who to play where as the season goes on.
Trent Brown being out, I'm not as high on Isaiah Wynn as other people are. I was really surprised when the Patriots picked up his 5th-year option. I was surprised that they were that high on him. Mike Onwenu has shifted over to guard where he was a tackle last season. So there's a couple of things that are smoothing out. I expect when Brown comes back or when Belichick, pulls his head out of the sand on this one and makes the right adjustments that they need on the line and actually shift Onwenu back to tackle and bring Karras in. I expect this line to be a lot better. It's only week 2. Again, talk to me week 5, and if we're seeing the same things, then we're going to be having a different conversation. That's my opinion. And I'm not sitting here like, oh, that's going to be a top 5 by week 5. Like I'm not trying to be overconfident. I'm just like, I can't get into it's not going to be a top 5 week 2. I can't do it.
Right.
Week 5, week 6. That's when I'll start getting into it.
Yeah, there's a lot for them to figure out. Even at week 5, they've still got a couple weeks. I mean, a couple months left. Mac 10 says, I thought it was a good game and can't wait to see what happens next week. I agree. I didn't think it was a bad game. I mean, if you didn't go on Twitter, you would never know.
I thought it was a little bit of a frustrating game in the first half. I did. If you listen to my play-by-play, it's over on the replay. It's there on the Patriots news desk if you want to see it. Like I said, I dropped an F-bomb. I was frustrated with a couple of things in the first play. I called out Belichick twice, and I'm going to get to that in a minute after we finish up the Patreon questions. However, I thought they came back out better in the second half. I thought the defense looked better in the second half. They had their moments where they're still letting up runs, but they had their moments where they stopped the run in the second half. Hightower get involved in plays. Josh Uche needs to play more.
Yeah, he does.
He needs to play a lot more. And I think it's time to not make Ronnie Perkins inactive. And it's time to get him on the field and see what he can do. I think that there was a lot of good moments in this game. I'd rather Chase Winovich be inactive and Ronnie Perkins be on the field because Chase Winovich is barely playing. He comes in kind of at the end. He's not really doing anything for 2 games now. He's been really just sort of useless. I'd rather him be inactive and they bring in Ronnie Perkins, see what he has. But yeah, it was frustrating at times. I'm not going to sit here and say that game was perfect and that was a joyful game to watch. It was ugly football at times. But however, I've watched the Patriots with Tom Brady. I've watched the Patriots with really good teams have ugly football in the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yep. And I think this comment sums up everything right here for us. Rich says, a win is a win.
Yes. Just enjoy it. I'm enjoying Victory Monday tomorrow, Connor.
A win is a win, man. A win is a win.
I am enjoying Victory Monday tomorrow.
Yeah, buddy. We should. We rightfully should.
All right. I have another one here.
All right.
Screw the sportsmanship. They had situational football this is from Vicarious Patriots.
Okay.
Screw the sportsmanship. They had situational football inside the goal line, and they call 3 straight runs up the middle and then kick a field goal. If they were worried about running up the score, it should have been a fourth run up the middle instead of sending out a kicker for 3 points. I'm going to stop it there. Joe,
yeah.
They weren't worried about running up the score.
I was going to say, I disagree. I don't think that was Bill's intention at all. I don't think he was saying, I don't want this to look bad. I just think I don't think that was the reasoning behind it at all.
If we all agree that the Patriots' red zone offense needs to improve, if we're all on agreement to that, and I think we can agree, right? Yeah. If we're all in agreement to that, then anything you do have, you don't show in that situation. You don't. Because you can't call that play again. Because if New Orleans sees it, Tampa sees it, Dallas sees it, they're going to be ready for it.
Right.
That was the absolute right decision to run the ball 3 times there. That put them up by 3 scores, that iced the game, and you showed everybody nothing. He continues, 3rd down, they should have let Mac audible to a pass or gone to the outside on some form of toss. With the conservative play call on 3rd at the end, I'm surprised Bill didn't go for it on 4th in the name of sportsmanship. Again, it wasn't sportsmanship, it was gamesmanship. 2 different things, Joe. 2 different things. Gamesmanship and sportsmanship are 2 different things. Gamesmanship is not tipping your hand to the next team you got to play. The Patriots have to play 15 more games this season. 15. There's no reason to show what this team can do. And you know what? Can we maybe accept that Mac Jones is a rookie and maybe he has some limitations to what he can and cannot do on the field? And stop. We got to stop. He looks good, Connor. He looks great. He looks phenomenal.
He does.
But we're acting as if he's a 10-year veteran that should be able to make every throw, every read, everything. He made mistakes today. That fumble was a mistake. He did not see the pressure coming. Those 3 sacks came on the right side.
Yep.
That wasn't his blind side. He never saw them coming.
Brady didn't see the pressure coming and fumble today too. It happens, man. It's a part of the game. You know what I mean? People make mistakes. He's 2 weeks in. He looks fine. I don't think Bill Belichick cares about running up the score at all. I don't think that was the case. I don't think that even crossed his mind before that even came up. I never even considered that.
No, that was him saying to Josh, show them nothing. Show New Orleans nothing. Show Tampa nothing. We got big games ahead of us.
Right.
In the next 4 weeks, we have to play the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
who blew out. Okay, they lost today, but they blew out the Packers last week.
Right.
We got the Saints.
Yep.
We have Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks later, we got Dallas.
Right.
Those
All
are
difficult games.
Three very tough games. You show
Very.
nothing.
Right.
He continues. This is how Bill wants to win at the moment. Run the ball, mix in some PA and passing plays. We talked about that the entire offseason, Joe. The entire offseason, we said this team was going to be built on running backs and play actions, right? I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. People are surprised by what they're seeing. Connor, we talked about this the entire offseason.
Right.
That this was going to be the play calling. I don't know why the Patriots offense has actually looked exactly the way I thought the Patriots offense was going to look. Long drives, a lot of running, play action, shots to the tight ends,
play defense,
check downs to the running backs, and play defense.
Right.
The thing that has surprised me the most is the poor offensive line play and the poor run defense. That's been the surprising part to me. The play calling has not shocked me at all because we've been talking about that since they got eliminated from the playoffs last year when we said, what's the game plan going to be going into next year? And we said they're probably going to be a run-heavy team.
Yep. Yeah, that's been the plan for them to have a good offensive line, run the football. Once they sign the tight ends, utilize the tight ends, play defense, run the ball. And win games that way. That's been the plan the entire time. We did get a super chat from My Patriots Updates here. Thank you, sir. Says, I can't deal with the stupidity and ungratefulness.
Ungratefulness for what?
I think he's saying the fan base.
I know. I'm not going to go into the ungratefulness though. People are frustrated. I'm not going to call it ungratefulness. I don't know if you call it stupidity. I call it. I don't think it's stupidity. I can't call it stupidity. I just call it like you're going to hate football.
Right.
You know, like you're going to hate football. Why watch it? Why? You know the people who come on here because they hate us?
Yeah.
And we know who they are. Like they get pointed out all the time, right? We know who they are. You and I have talked about this off air a lot. Why do people watch us just to get mad? You know what I mean? Like,
because they're upset in life and this is a good outlet for them.
But I'm saying, like, we always say we don't watch things that upset us.
Right.
I get heated in the moment of a Patriots game. Again, go watch my play-by-play. You'll hear some heated, frustrated moments out of me. But then it's like it's time. Like, I get over a loss faster than some Patriot fans get over a win.
Seriously, right?
Okay, so Joe continues.
Okay.
He's protecting he's protecting Jones until he's ready to release him. He's building up Jones's confidence. When Bill is ready, McDaniels should be allowed to open up the playbook to more aggressive play calls. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that clear the super chat. I think that
we got another one, but let me get rid of this one.
Let me finish this thought. You can finish it, and then we'll get to that. I think, to be honest with you, I think that when it comes to the playbook, if you watch that first quarter, I ask everybody, go back and watch the full first quarter if you can. If you have Game Pass, go back and watch just the first quarter. And I want you to see every time that Mac Jones took a snap to throw the ball, how many times he looked downfield. We didn't see that last week against Miami too much, but this week we did. Downfield.
Right.
This wide receiving core cannot get open. That's a concern.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue as well. We were hoping that Aguilar was going to stretch the field.
And they're not getting open on play action. Now, I'm going to say Mac Jones is not good at selling play action.
Mm-hmm.
I think he telecasts it very well. They had a couple of plays where it was really good, but he's not good at selling play action. He's good at selling the halfback delay.
Right.
But he's not good at play action. Okay, let's finish up Joe's comment here.
All right.
Take away the mistakes week 1, and the Patriots are 2-0 with the play calling. First of all, Joe's been after the play calling for 2 years now, and I think until Josh McDaniels moves on, he's not going to be happy. But I just want to put that out. Bill's not revealing anything yet, and so there's a lot on film to plan for if they get creative. And they need Trent Brown back. Yeah, so we've acknowledged the offensive line 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what this Patriots receiving core needs to play better. It really does. It really does.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see too, because I feel like every week it's going to change. Some weeks they're gonna use the wide receivers way more, but definitely a mediocre effort today by them, or a
All right,
mediocre showing at least, not effort.
we do got one from Ross here, but let's go to the super chat. Then we can finish up. We can go to Ross's comment.
Alrighty, we have Mike Who here. So going to be a different year than most Pats fans are used to. They are going to chew the clock, run the ball, and Mac's going to throw the safest option. I mean, based on the first 2 games, that's what we've seen. And I wouldn't be surprised if this continues, but at some point they gotta let Mac Jones let it rip, because this is a good recipe to stay in games and to win a lot of close games like today. You knew that this was going to be the perfect thing. Patriots run the ball, chew the clock, Mac goes to the safest option. You're not going to beat the Buccaneers playing that way. There's just no way.
I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but hear me out, okay, Connor? I think if Cam Newton is the quarterback this year, you see the Patriots play a little bit more aggressive.
Possibly, yeah.
I think that, again, and I think this is something that I didn't accept after week 1. I accepted it today, though.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Jones is still a rookie. As good as he looks, he's still a rookie quarterback. And because he's a rookie, I think the Patriots, I don't know if I think the Patriots have faith in him. Obviously they do. They wouldn't have got rid of Cam Newton if they didn't have faith in him.
Right.
But I don't know if they have faith to let it hang loose the way they would if Cam Newton was the quarterback, being a 10-year veteran in the NFL. Right?
That's
so
fair.
when you mix up the wide receiving core having issues getting open downfield, when you mix up that, I was reading a thing this week about Mac Jones's reads, and he's not getting to his third read yet. That's what I heard. They teams are getting him off his third with pressure. So he's going to his first read, second read, then he's looking for his checkdowns.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and him being a rookie, the game's obviously a lot faster. It's going to be an adjustment.
I also want to say there's a communication issue between the receivers and Mac Jones as well, which I think is going to get cleared up. Twice today, Mac Jones scrambled out of the pocket, and both times today, the Patriots receivers didn't come back to him.
Okay.
And that's something that they're going to have to work on. That's them going to have to figure out Mac, because they expect him just to sit in the pocket. But he escaped the pocket twice today. The pocket was collapsing, and he got to the outside. The one time you could see him screaming at Hunter Henry, "Come back, come back, come back!"
Right.
And then he ended up. I think he felt the pressure and he threw it a little bit low.
He did, yeah. That's what happened. I remember that play.
The first time he scrambled, I think, came in the first half.
Yeah.
And nobody came back. He ended up throwing the football away.
Right.
So there's a communication issue there as well. Again, that's lack of playing time with each other.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. It's going to take a little while for them to build a lot of chemistry. I mean, none of these guys have played together before. This is not a veteran team. Everybody here is new, essentially. It's all new faces, and obviously, a totally new quarterback who's new to the NFL.
All right, we're going to go to Ross's Patreon now.
All right.
So Ross says pros and cons for today's win against the Jets. What I saw. So he goes into it deep.
Okay.
Pros, running back core was good without turnovers from last week. Tight end core was productive when they had the opportunity. Mac Jones showed poise in tough situations. Harris is an absolute beast. Really looking forward to his future development. Our defense capitalized on every one of quarterback Wilson's mistakes. If I could add to that, I would put front seven forced a lot of those mistakes as well. Cons, O-line struggled to protect run blocking. Yep. Run defense was non-existent. Yep. Tackling was questionable in the backfield and open field. Open field I thought was better than it was last week. Backfield, the tackling in the backfield goes right along with the Patriots run defense. I'm doing a full deep dive on that tomorrow on Newsbreak, and I'm talking about all that. That's definitely a problem. Vanilla play calling in the red zone and other situations hampered drives. We've addressed that so many times now. Penalties still an issue, 6 for 54 yards. Yeah, penalties not cleaned up, and they took a couple penalties in some crucial situations.
Yeah. Overall, I completely agree with what he said there. I mean, there were a lot of good things. Obviously, Damian Harris looked great. Running backs looked good. Penalties were a little bit better, but not fantastic. But for the most part, this was just a cleaner version of week 1. I thought they looked somewhat similar. I mean, even last week, they only gave up 17 points, but they didn't turn the football over. They still ran the ball very well. Mac Jones was still consistent out there. Overall, they capitalized more, and they didn't turn the football over and commit the penalties that completely made them lose last week.
I'm going to finish Ross's comments here. and it's funny because he says statistically not a fantastic outing for the Patriots. Stat-wise, we're behind the Jets in total yards, passing, rushing yards, and yards per play, just to name a few. I know football is not always about stats, but this is concerning considering the more talented teams will be facing soon.
Yeah.
The Patriots faced a top 5 Dolphins defense, they say, right?
Yeah.
They faced a better Dolphins team, and the Patriots killed them on the stat sheet. Killed them on the stat sheet in every statistical category except for penalties and final score.
Yep.
Outside of that, the Patriots outpossessed them, outthrew them, outran them. They outsacked them. Third down efficiency was phenomenal. And a big part of the Patriots' third downs today is everything was 3rd and 10 or third. I think that with those sacks, when they averaged out, I was reading a report on the Boston Globe. When you averaged out all their third downs, their average third down was 3rd and 10.
Yeah, not good.
That you're not going to have high efficiency.
Right.
You're not going to have high third down efficiency. And I saw somebody write to me today too. They said, like, the Patriots third down efficiency sucked, and they really let the Jets have. The Jets had phenomenal third down efficiency. The defense let us down. The Jets were 5 for 13 on third downs and 1 for 3 on fourth downs. They weren't efficient either.
They scored 6 points.
Yeah, and 5 for 13 is not efficient third down play, and 1 for 3 on fourth down is not efficient either.
No.
Everything that he wrote, pros and cons, I can't argue with. The only thing I argue about statistics is they absolutely dominated Miami with statistics last week, and it resulted in a loss.
Right. Which is the only stat at the end of the day that matters. Did you get a win or did you get a loss? Everything else overall doesn't count.
Listen, there's a very real possibility, people, that the Patriots are going to get blown out next week and blown out the week after. Like, I'm not even going to deny that possibility.
I mean, it definitely is a possibility.
They're playing a very good Saints team that blew out the Packers. They're playing a very good Bucs team that seems to be blowing out everybody right now. And there's a good chance that they get blown out the next 2 weeks. And the conversations will change from there, which is why I'm saying enjoy this win.
Right. It's hard to get a win in the NFL. We got to enjoy all of them, especially after last season.
Yeah. All right. You want to get some more comments popping up here?
We have a super chat here from Joe. It says, after I got away from the final drive, I wasn't slamming the play calling with how Bill wants to win. I was defending it.
Fair enough. But I was just saying we're not shocked, right?
Right.
And the fact that you had to defend it, it's something that we talked about the entire season or the entire offseason. I mean, we've been talking about this since February. I got so sick of the words, the running backs are going to run the football, throw check down to the tight ends, play action calls up the field. Like, how many times did you or I say that line over and over again? Sarah said it. Yep. Lauren said it. Master at Work said it. Everybody who came through this show talked about that's what the offense, and now the offense looks like that, and people seem to be shocked that that's the play calling.
Right. I mean, we've been saying it for 7 months now. They're going to run the football. They're going to chew the clock. They're going to try and use the tight ends. I mean, this might just be their persona. This might just be the way that they're going to try and win games. This might be the most efficient way to get to a victory as well. Because if they know they can't really succeed throwing the ball down the field, or if at least they don't think they will, why invest that much time towards it instead of getting as best that they can over the 5 to 15 yard passes and running the football?
Yeah. All right. Let's get another chat going here.
All right, we got another one here from Elliot Hernandez. It says, also with tight end Henry and Smith, they need more time as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we haven't really at all seen how they're going to fit into this game plan. I really don't.
Me neither.
I don't think we've seen at all how they're going to fit into this game plan. They're still a work in progress, not by their skill set, but a work in progress on how. I will say, though, what did they have, 5 catches combined today or 6 catches combined today? I mean, that's more than they've done. That's more than tight ends have had in 2 years on the Patriots.
Yeah, I think we saw 6 catches out of him today. One of them was that big catch by Henry. A couple other ones were just little dink and dunk ones to Smith. And
it's funny, that was Hunter Henry's first target and first catch of the game, was that big one.
Yeah.
I think it was third down, right? Like 3rd and 8 or something like that.
Yeah. He went for like 30 yards on that play.
Yeah, I don't think we have seen exactly what this Patriots team is what the Patriots are going to do with that tight end crew.
Right. I think we're going to see a lot more in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks from right now. All right, we got super chats coming in here. Got one from G107. He says, great win, guys. Still worry about the defense. Got to do a better job next week.
Connor, say something stupid for him.
I was only worried about the Patriots defense of line who should have done the tackles or the good plays for the offense.
Very good. Thank you, Connor.
Yep. There you go, G107. I got you, man.
I agree. The run defense is a problem. The front seven on the pass rush, great the last 2 weeks. Again, Wilson made bad throws, but you got to give the credit to that offensive line or that front seven. They put a lot of pressure on them. Hightower played better. Run defense is a problem, and
the run defense was the only problem I saw on defense today.
Kamara could blow the roof.
That's my biggest concern. That's
my
biggest concern.
And then Leonard Fournette the next week, who's been doing really well.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, they worry me a little bit, but nothing like Kamara worries me.
Like, do you realize then, like, we got to face Christian McCaffrey down the line.
Yep.
We got to face Nick Chubb. We got to face
Nick Chubb's a problem.
We got to face JJ Taylor. Like, we got to face some good.
They got to play JJ Taylor.
What's that?
I said they got to play JJ Taylor.
Well, they're platooning because they have what's his name, JJ Taylor and who's the other one? I forgot.
James White.
No. Why did I say JJ Taylor? I meant to say Jonathan Thomas.
Jonathan
Taylor. Sorry.
Okay.
We have to play Jonathan Taylor and the other Indy running back.
Naheem Hines.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack. They have a bunch of them.
Yeah, Marlon Mack. That's who I was thinking of. There's going to be a lot of good running backs. We got to play Zeke.
Yep.
There's a lot of good. In the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We have to face Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette.
Yep.
And Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I mean? Like, in the next 4 weeks, that's the challenge for the Patriots.
Right.
And then Philip Lindsay for Houston.
Philip Lindsay. Your boy.
Your boy.
Hey, gashed us last year.
Did.
All right, we got another super chat here. This one is from BDogs02. Says, Ray, help me understand why JM distrusts Mac and have first and goal with 0 targets in that end zone to Jonnu or Hunter Henry. Unfreaking believable.
If you're referring to the last drive of the game, for those of you who have been here since the start, they got to hear me talk about this again. I apologize. The Patriots did the absolute right thing at the end. They were up by 2 scores. A field goal put them up by 3. They have tough games ahead of them. There's no reason, and we agree that the red zone offense is an issue. I said right on my broadcast after they ran the ball the first time, I said they should run the ball 2 more times here. Just run the clock and show Sean Payton, show Bruce Arians nothing about what they want to do in the red zone with their tight ends. Because as soon as you show something, it's now on film. You could put nothing on film at that moment. If that's what you're talking about, that's it. I don't remember a goal line play outside of that.
Yeah, I don't either. They scored the 2 touchdowns from a decent ways away, but I didn't even expect them to try and do anything when there was like 3 minutes left. I thought at that point they would just run the clock out, give the Jets the ball. The game was over. I was fully expecting them to run until the final clock struck 0 at that point.
And then when we talk about mistrust, I don't necessarily know if it's just coming from McDaniels. Again, Mac is not, I don't want to say Tom Brady because nobody's Tom Brady. Mac is not any quarterback who's been in the league for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. He's been in the league for 2 games.
Right.
Like, let's keep that in consideration. Mac Jones has been in the NFL for 2 games. Cincinnati, they babied Burrow like that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence doesn't look like the first overall pick down in Jacksonville at the moment. You know,
definitely not.
You know, he's been in the league for 2 games, and they're gonna protect him the best they can. And that last play had nothing to do with Mac Jones. That was just the Patriots who probably have limited red zone plays. Let's be real; they probably have limited red zone plays. We've seen them struggle. That they probably wanted to put nothing on tape.
We got to save it for the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
We have a great super chat here from G107. Thank you, sir. He says, you guys are the best, man. Appreciate you, man. What a guy.
You want to grab another chat?
Let's see what we have here. Let's go to Chevy.
I like Chevy.
Chevy on production says we've seen enough of Mac to know his ceiling.
I actually agree. With Chevy. I think actually what we've seen in Mac, we're just going to see an improved version of what we see right now.
Right. He has the intangibles, I think. It's going to be the fact that he needs to get a lot more experience as he goes forward because he looks like he's going to be able to be the guy who sits in the pocket. He's not going to wow you with his arms. It's not going to be Patrick Mahomes, or he's not going to run the football like he's Cam or Lamar Jackson or anything like that. But I think he's going to be good enough and consistent enough that they can win with him.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love Mac Jones. I love how he fits in this Patriots system. To be real with you, Connor, I don't know if I love Mac Jones because he's the Patriots quarterback, or I love Mac Jones because I think he's going to be a great quarterback.
Yep.
That does
Both.
cloud my judgment sometimes. You know,
Mhm.
wearing a Patriots jersey can cloud my judgment for a player. Fully admit that. I'm not though afraid or embarrassed or I think wrong to say Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance all have higher ceilings than Mac Jones does. Whether or not they get there is a whole nother question. But I agree with Chevy. I think we know what Mac's ceiling is. I think we know what Mac is as a quarterback. I think that in the next 2 years you could see Trey Lance not completely change his game, but add elements to his game that aren't there this year. I don't think that there are elements to Mac Jones's game about maybe moving around the pocket a little bit more, or a couple other things that we're going to see added. I think what we're going to see is everything he does now just get better. So
Right.
I don't see major elements being added though, but I think with Justin Fields, with Trey Lance, with Zach Wilson, the first overall Trevor Lawrence, I think that with them you might see different elements. You might see elements added to their game. We're not going to see major elements added with Mac. Mac fits the Patriots system and what they want to do. He might be the epitome of a system quarterback. To be honest with you, and I'm not trying to say that. I know it sounds like I'm insulting him, Connor. I'm not trying. Does it sound like I'm insulting him? I'm not trying. Do you get what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Obviously, I get what you're saying. Like, he's going to be basically what he is for the most part, which is a pocket passer. He's going to sit in the pocket, throw the football. You know, he might not, like I was just saying, make like the ridiculously wowing plays like these other guys might be. You know, Justin Fields, we know, can run stuff like that. But we'll see. I still don't think that it means he can't win a Super Bowl. I think he can. I think he probably will.
No, I didn't say he wouldn't win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying I think we know what we have in Mac Jones.
Yep.
I don't think the Jets fully know what they have in Zach Wilson. I don't think the Bears fully know what they have in Justin Fields. I don't think the Jaguars, fully know what they have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to watch Mac Jones become a better version of himself.
Yep.
Right? And he's going to play in a system that's the perfect system for him to be the better version of himself. However, when it comes to that ceiling of adding elements and this and that, I think those other quarterbacks are higher. Doesn't mean they're going to reach it. He could be the best quarterback out of all of them in 5 years.
Yep.
He could be out of the league in 5 years. We don't know. You know what I mean? How things look. I truthfully, I have him very comparable to Joe Burrow.
Which could be good. Very good.
Yeah, I think they can both be very, very good to great quarterbacks, but we kind of know who they are. And we shouldn't expect anything drastic to change in their game. We can just watch them become better versions of themselves.
Right.
Where, you look at somebody like Lamar, if he can learn to stand in the pocket a little bit more, go through his reads a little bit quicker, put a little bit more accuracy on his ball, that's a new element to his game. Right? We're never going to see that kind of element get added to Joe Burrow and Mac Jones. They're not going to become Lamar Jackson. They're not going to be, okay, let's teach Mac Jones to become 10 kilometers or 10 miles an hour faster.
Right.
And, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So that's what I mean by it.
Yep. No, that makes sense. We got another one here from Joe Kincaid. He says, Anton Weiss was right. Mac is better than Lawrence. I don't know who that is. Who's Adam Weiss? I
think ATM Weiss was he? At the moment, Charlie Weiss. He's saying at the moment, Charlie Weiss.
At the moment. Oh my goodness, I'm cooked. Thought he said that it was 18.
Mac Jones was the most NFL ready quarterback.
Yeah.
The most NFL ready. He's right now, in my opinion, he's better than every rookie quarterback in the league. Because he was the best. Again, I just think that we know Chevy's got it. Chevy nailed it on the head. We know what we have in Mac Jones, and he's going to become a better version of himself, maybe a greater version of himself. With the other quarterbacks, I think there's elements of their games that can still be added. But at the moment, yeah, of course, you brought it. You cut Cam Newton because Bill Belichick believes this team can compete this year. Don't fool yourself. I may think that this team is an 8 or 9 win team. Bill Belichick doesn't think that. Bill Belichick thinks this team can compete and make the playoffs. And he thought that Mac Jones gave him the best opportunity, both from, if you want to put it on the vaccine or whatever, both from that perspective, but also that he had the skill set and the talent to run this offense.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 more comments.
All right. We got another super chat here.
No.
So this is from BDogs02. Says, I think today the shots Mac took in the pocket were tougher than last week. He was breathing heavy after sacks today. The revolving line is a problem. I thought Mac did play tough, though. I thought he hung in there again a couple times where he knew he was going to take a hit and completed the pass. He did take a beating on a couple of those sacks. I agree, man. It did look like whatever it was, he was breathing heavy. He was feeling the NFL pressure today. They were after him, especially in the first half.
This offensive line right now is reminding me of that 2019 offensive line. And if you remember, Tom Brady stood in there and took a lot of punishment.
Right.
By the time we got to week 12 and 13, that's when Tom Brady was just throwing the ball down the middle of the field and getting picked off by Earl Thomas because he was just sick of being hit. It starts to, even for a young guy, those consistent hits, that consistent contact, that builds up on you, and you bruise and you hurt. And the Patriots need to do a better job. You've got that line, plus those tight ends that can block as well. And you've got Jakob Johnson in there a whole lot. You got to do a better job blocking for him. And you're right, that right tackle position is a problem.
Yeah, and I'm hoping things will get better once Brown comes back. Obviously, they're going to go from like feast to famine. They have one of the best tackles in the league to a guy that probably belongs on a practice squad somewhere. So I expect that to be a big difference.
I would also like to see Isaiah Wynn and Trent Brown switch and move Isaiah Wynn to right tackle and move Trent Brown to left tackle, if I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they have to do to get that configuration right, I'm all for it. I agree. They're going to do something.
If you're Bill Belichick right now, and we know that today's offensive line problems was beyond Yasser Durant. There was other issues in there, right? If you're Belichick, are you not calling Scarnecchia?
Oh, I hope so. I was saying to somebody that
can you just come in for a couple practices and
something. We got to get him back.
Can you watch the film?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Something.
Can you do something? Come on, Dante.
Right, because that guy's he's the mastermind.
Come home.
just for a couple weeks, even anything. Just come back for a little while.
All right, let's do a couple more, then we'll wrap this up.
All right, we got Chevy on here. He says, if luck comes New England's way, he might just be another Brady, which isn't bad at all. That's the exact point, man.
Brady worked out pretty well in New England. I thought he worked out pretty good. I thought that worked. I thought that relationship worked. Yeah, but it's going to take luck. It is going to take luck to get another Brady. I've been impressed with Mac, especially mentally, and that's I think the most important part of a quarterback.
Yep.
And I'm excited about what he can become for this team.
Let's see.
That's your way in there. Just
I'm trying to watch. This is a bunch of nonsense in the chat.
Let's do one more. Let's wrap it up with one more.
All right. Well, I got to find one because we have a super chat, but it's just Hanif just throwing us some love. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Hanif. Try to look and see if he drops a comment after.
That's what I was trying to find, if there was a comment that went with it, but I'm not seeing one. We have Joe's dropping one just to say to go see McChicken, so I'm trying to find that right now.
Okay, I'll find McChickens. You find another good one.
Okay.
938.
Oh, I see it.
This one here?
Yeah. Oh.
We both clicked it. Well, we did have Popovich leave because of the vaccine status. Heard he was a good offensive line coach. There you go.
Oh, was that what happened? Their offensive line coach?
Yeah. Their offensive line coach Popovich left. I think when the whole vaccine policy came into play,
We
he was unvaccinated, and the Patriots asked him to walk away
we need Skarnecchia back even more now.
or bring Popovich back.
Maybe, right? Jeez. They gotta do something, man, because it was not good. All right, we got one here from Corey D. So
Perfect.
Kendrick Bourne is looking good, but how do you feel about Myers lately? Myers, I didn't see him getting opened all that much today, surprisingly. I didn't think it was a great game for Myers. Bourne's been all right. That end around was awesome, obviously, but I don't think Bourne's exactly lit it up either. But yeah, Myers wasn't really getting open today.
I'm going to disagree with you. Bourne could have had about 40 to 50 yards in passing last week that got
called back.
penalties.
Yeah,
and I find that they're using Kendrick Bourne very sparsely. I took a lot of heat last week, a lot, for saying how disappointed I was in Jacoby Myers. And did he look like a number one receiver today? No. The receiver I've been the most impressed with has been Nelson Aguilar. Had a couple of catches today, a good catch on one play, no butterfingers. You know, like he's catching everything that's coming his direction, that's going into his hands.
right.
I think Nelson Aguilar is the Patriots' number one, and I don't know how great that is. You know what I mean? But but he's acting like the number one. He's getting number one snaps and play time, and he's making the catches. Was it Myers that made that really good catch right near the sidelines?
I believe he did. He did have
Yeah.
a catch or two out there. He wasn't non-existent, but I just didn't see him getting open like regularly.
I just think after the way Lawrence hyped him up for us this offseason,
Right.
I don't know if I'll be honest, maybe my expectations for Myers has been too high.
Yeah.
But Lawrence said he was going to have a breakout. I read a lot of fantasy stuff this year where all these fantasy experts were saying they could easily see Jacoby Myers being 1,000-yard receiver this year and to pick him up and yada, yada, yada. So maybe just with all the hype around him, maybe I just put my expectations too high. This could be a me problem, not a Jacoby Myers problem, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe he's going to be a guy who catches, 60 passes for 700 yards, which is very good. But we're looking for him to be DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. And again, that's a me problem, not a Myers problem.
Right. Exactly. He might just be who he is. He might just be a good number two. As
much as I yell at Patriot fans saying their expectations are always too high, I'm the same in other areas.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm the same in other areas too. And I'll eat it if my expectations were too high on Myers, right? Like it's like High. I mean, High's my favorite player of all time. We've seen High perform in the past, but I don't know what I was expecting out of him. For some reason, I was expecting like 2 sacks a game and 5 tackles. You know what I mean? Like I think that my expectations that I put on High were too much. You know what I mean? Like where it's and I don't know why I thought he was just going to get back into the game as if he didn't just take a whole year off.
Yeah, there's going to be a learning curve there, man. That's a long time to be away from the game.
He's got to shake some rust. So I think, again, that's a me problem. Like I was really, like you and I had an off-air conversation. Like I was really disappointed in Hightower last week. But again, I wear 54 on Sundays. So my expectations are just skyrocketing or sky high for him. Judon's played really well, but my expectations for him were higher. It's a me problem. My expectations for Henry Anderson were way higher, and he's not setting the edge.
Yeah, that's
a him problem. That's a him problem. That's not a me problem. And Deatrice Weiss isn't setting the edge.
Right.
And Deatrice Weiss is still doing very well in the pass rush. Like he's getting a lot of pressure in. He's helping collapse the pocket. He's playing very well in that perspective. He's not taking he didn't take the Deatrice Weiss penalty today, so good for him. But he's not setting the edge on the run. That's a him problem. But I think Hightower, Jacoby Myers, Matthew Judon, I think that my expectations were Madden level, and you should never, you can't compare people to Madden.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I mean, sometimes we just think like the perfect scenario in our mind, like Anderson's going to completely stuff the run, Weiss is going to set the edge, and then It's just we picture it going better than it actually does.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of Pats Nation, we appreciate you coming on for the live show tonight. We even gave you 14 minutes and 47 seconds more talk than we usually do, mainly because I came on cranky for the first 15 minutes, so I felt like I owed it to you. Connor, Patriots win 25-6. Any final words to leave the audience?
Well, I'm going to obviously tell you the catchphrase at the end, but just be happy with the win. A win is a win. They looked good. They didn't let up a touchdown. Things are going to continue to get better. They're going to have a good season. The Patriots are going to continue to be legit, kid.
Okay, I wanted a word too.
Oh,
So
okay, go ahead.
I was not prepared for that, to be honest with you. Like, my hand wasn't over the exit. I was just like, and as you started saying it, I went into a panic and I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Oh boy.
Um,
All right, our intern needs to be here to have everything ready to go.
I'm going to take that one. You actually set that up beautifully. I guess I'm just used to me asking you, tell me about, and then you say legit. That's all. I'll take the heat on that one.
All right. Do you want to tell? You can tell them this time too.
I do it when you're
No.
away, and I do it on the Patriots news desk. Now I finish with never forget the Patriots are legit, kid. So
Nice.
I think that because I get to say it every day, you should say, but I should be able to ask you the question though.
That's true.
Because now I got a rant, Connor. We already know that you're the more popular one.
Who says who though, right?
Oh, says the audience.
Okay.
We already know that you're the eye candy. We know that everybody comes here for you. I'm just the pessimist asshole, quote, / Twitter troll / boring analytical guy who has to do all the new stuff. All I want to do, Connor, all I want in my life is to be able to look at you and say, Connor, tell me about those Patriots.
Gonna be legit, kid.
Because I think the purpose of faith is to get human beings to live on a higher plane than the animals in the jungle, and that there's something bigger going on that's bigger than all of us. And